What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Buddha. What if I told you that the life you keep imagining, the one filled with peace, freedom, and purpose, isn't a fantasy, but a message? A quiet whisper from your soul, showing you who you were always meant to become. Buddhism teaches that what you imagine, you create. Not through luck or chance, but through inner alignment. So the question is, are you living the life you've been dreaming of, or just surviving the one you've been handed? In this video, we're diving deep into the ancient Buddhist wisdom that transforms visions into reality, not by chasing more, but by becoming more aligned. If you're ready to stop dreaming and start living, this is the turning point. Chapter 1. The mind is the architect of reality. In Buddhism, the foundation of all experience begins in the mind. The Dhammapada teaches, all that we are is the result of what we have thought, meaning that your life is a mirror reflecting your mental habits and internal narratives. Every belief, every emotion, and every perception you hold silently shapes the world you live in. If your mind constantly entertains thoughts of fear, failure, or limitation, your external life will begin to reflect those limitations as truth. But if your inner world is nurtured with thoughts of peace, clarity, and possibility, that same world will begin to transform. The life you imagine when no one is watching, the one that surfaces when you're silent and undistracted, is not some random fantasy. It's your inner self revealing what's possible beyond your current conditioning. This is not about empty daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's about training the mind to become intentional, disciplined, and focused through mindfulness and meditation. These practices aren't passive. They are tools that rebuild the internal blueprint of your existence. The mind, once aware of its creative power, becomes your most precise architect, and what you envision with consistency, belief, and presence, you gradually begin to build, brick by thought, breath by breath. Chapter 2. Detach from the illusion of limitations. The greatest obstacle between you and the life you've been imagining is not the world, your past, or your circumstances. It's the mental cage of false limitations. Buddhism teaches that much of human suffering stems not from actual events, but from the stories we attach to them, the beliefs we form about what is and isn't possible. These limitations are not real. They are inherited fears, cultural conditioning, and repeated doubts dressed up as truth. You've been taught to shrink your dreams to fit within the boundaries of what others call realistic. But the Buddha's path is about awakening from illusions, and the belief that you are somehow unworthy or incapable is one of the most dangerous illusions of all. To imagine a better life while still holding on to the idea that you're not allowed to have it creates a quiet war inside the soul. Detachment in Buddhism doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means releasing your grip on fear, on control, on the rigid identity that says, this is just who I am. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the limiting beliefs someone else handed you. You are awareness itself, capable of growth, expansion, and transformation. But to access that potential, you must first see through the fog of illusion that tells you to stay small. Letting go doesn't weaken you. It clears space for truth. And the truth is, the life you keep imagining is not asking you to earn it. It's asking you to believe it's already possible. It exists not in some distant future, but just beyond the boundary of fear. Step past that edge, and you'll realize the limits you lived by were never real. They were only unchallenged. Chapter 3. Your present action shapes your future path. The imagined life you long for will never arrive through wishing alone. It demands alignment. In Buddhist philosophy, this alignment begins not in the future, but in the present moment, through the law of karma. Karma is often misunderstood as punishment or reward, but in its truest form, it is cause and effect. Every action you take, every thought you entertain, every emotion you feed becomes a seed planted into the soil of your reality. The future is not written somewhere in the clouds. It is written in what you choose to do now. If your imagined life is one of peace, but your habits are chaotic, there is a disconnection. If you envision purpose but spend your days in distractions, you are watering weeds instead of the tree of your own becoming. Buddhism teaches right action, right speech, and right intention, not as rules, but as tools that carve the path forward. Each time you act with mindfulness, you bend the trajectory of your life in the direction of your vision. This process doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Imagine your life as a garden. The life you desire is the fruit you wish to harvest, but fruit does not grow simply because you want it to. It grows because you plant the right seeds, remove what doesn't belong, and patiently tend to what does. Many people live in a state of inner contradiction. They desire one thing, but act in ways that betray that desire. That's why suffering persists. Buddhism urges you to close that gap, not through force, but through awareness. Every step you take today is not small. It is sacred. It sends a signal to the universe. I am ready to live the life I keep imagining. So make your actions a mirror of your vision. Speak like the person you wish to become. Choose like them. Show up with the energy they would embody. The imagined life isn't waiting at the end of some long journey. It begins the moment you begin living in integrity with the future you want to create. When your inner vision and your outer behavior align, that's when transformation begins. Not someday, but now. Chapter 4. Embrace stillness. That's where clarity lives. In a world that glorifies speed, noise, and endless doing, stillness is seen as laziness or weakness. But in Buddhism, stillness is not a pause from life. It is where life becomes visible. It is in stillness that the mind returns to its natural state, like a muddy lake settling into clarity. Without this stillness, you cannot hear your own truth. You cannot feel the subtle pull of the life you were meant to live, because it is drowned out by the chaos you've grown used to. The life you've been imagining, the one where you're at peace, purposeful, unshaken, it does not shout for attention. It reveals itself in silence, in presence, in the sacred space between distractions. The modern world teaches you to solve everything by doing more. But Buddhist wisdom teaches you that clarity, insight, and direction come not from adding more noise, but by subtracting what is unnecessary. Meditation is not just a spiritual habit. It is a tool for returning to yourself. When you sit in silence, you are not doing nothing. You are observing the roots of your suffering, the origins of your fear, the illusions that have quietly dictated your life. You begin to see that much of your imagined life is not as far away as it seemed. It was simply hidden beneath layers of mental clutter. Stillness strips away the false voices. It removes the borrowed expectations. It burns off the fog that tells you to chase things that never truly mattered. In that space, you remember that you are already whole, that the answers were always within you, that your longing was not for more things, but for a deeper connection to what already is. In stillness, you become a vessel, receptive to wisdom, to inspiration, to truth. You begin to act, speak, and live from a place that is no longer reactive, but rooted. This is why monks and sages seek solitude, not to escape the world, but to see it clearly. When you embrace stillness, your life begins to unfold with purpose, because your choices no longer come from confusion, but from clarity. You stop chasing the life you imagined, and instead, you begin to live it, because you've returned to the source of all creation, your own awakened awareness. The more deeply you enter stillness, the louder your path becomes. The world outside will always try to distract you, but the wisdom of stillness will always guide you home. Chapter 5. Let go of the perfect time illusion. One of the most silent yet destructive traps in the human experience is the illusion of the right time. It's a mirage that keeps you waiting, stalling, doubting, and endlessly postponing the life you were meant to live. Buddhism doesn't view time as something you wait for. It sees time as something you enter into fully. The present moment is not a stepping stone towards something better. It is the thing. And yet, most people spend their lives postponing joy, delaying decisions, and preparing for a future that never arrives, all in the name of waiting for better timing, more confidence, perfect circumstances. But the harsh truth is this: that imagined right moment does not exist, because the mind will always find something else to fix, improve, or fear. Buddhism teaches impermanence, not to frighten you, but to wake you. It reminds you that everything you are experiencing, including the opportunity to change your life, is fleeting. You do not have control over when the doors open again. You only have control over whether or not you walk through them now. Many people think their future self will be bolder, smarter, calmer, that somehow they'll magically be ready later. But Buddhism shatters that illusion. There is no future self that suddenly arrives with perfect wisdom. There is only you, right now, choosing to take one conscious step toward the life you envision, or remaining frozen by fear. The life you've been imagining doesn't require more time. It requires more presence. It doesn't need you to be more perfect. It needs you to be more willing. Willing to start before you're ready. Willing to feel discomfort. Willing to act even as fear whispers doubt. That's the path of awakening, because time will not wait for you to gather courage. It will move on. And if you keep delaying your transformation in the name of preparation, you'll wake up one day to find that the window for change didn't close. It simply passed you by unnoticed. The Buddha did not become enlightened by waiting. He sat under the Bodhi tree not when life was convenient, but when the inner call became too loud to ignore. You too have a tree to sit under, a decision to make, a life to claim. That imagined life, the one where you feel free, calm, purposeful, unshaken by the world, it's not hiding in tomorrow. It's hidden in your hesitation. And the only way to unlock it is through immediate, present, imperfect action. Do not wait for the universe to send a sign. You are the sign. The moment you feel a pull toward change, that is the universe already speaking through you. That is life inviting you into alignment. Perfection is a trick of the ego. It whispers that more time will solve your fear. But more time without action only deepens resistance. You don't become ready. You become willing. You don't wait for clarity. You create it through stillness and movement. Buddhist masters don't teach you to wait for enlightenment. They teach you to realize it's already within you. It's your natural state, but it gets buried under layers of delay, fear, overthinking, and waiting for the perfect time. So, if you've been dreaming, imagining, longing, let this be your moment. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for support, approval, or signs. Begin where you are, with what you have. Take one step. Breathe into the discomfort. Act anyway. And as you do, you'll discover something profound. The life you've been imagining isn't in the distance. It's on the other side of your delay. Your destiny isn't somewhere in the future. It's hidden beneath the weight of every excuse you've believed. Drop them. Stand up. Step forward. The perfect time is a myth. The present time is a miracle. And it's already here, waiting for you to choose. Chapter 6. Align desire with non-attachment, the paradox that unlocks true power. The deepest spiritual paradox in Buddhism, and perhaps the most misunderstood, is this: to manifest the life you've been imagining, you must deeply desire it, and yet be entirely unattached to it. At first, this seems impossible. How can you want something with your whole heart and still let go of needing it? But this teaching is not contradictory. It is sacred wisdom. Because true creation does not emerge from grasping. It flows from alignment. In Buddhism, tanha, the thirst, the craving, the desperate clinging, is the root of suffering. It's not the dream that causes pain. It's the belief that you cannot be at peace until you possess it. That belief binds you to suffering. But desire in its purest form is not craving. It is intention. It is the soul's echo of the life it knows is possible. To align desire with non-attachment means to want deeply, but not from a place of lack. It means envisioning a beautiful life, not to fill a void, but to express your wholeness. It means moving forward with passion, without needing the world to validate your path. You can pursue the life you imagine without letting that pursuit steal your peace. You can wake up each day with clarity, effort, and action, and yet sleep peacefully, whether the result comes today, tomorrow, or not at all. This is freedom. You stop chasing from fear and start creating from faith. You stop attaching your identity to outcomes and begin anchoring it in awareness. Most people imagine their dream life and immediately attach conditions. I'll be happy when it happens. I'll feel worthy if I achieve it. I'll feel secure once I own it. But Buddhism teaches that happiness is not found in the arrival. It's cultivated in the journey. The Buddha left his royal life not to reject the world, but to free himself from dependency on it. And in doing so, he gained everything, not through possession, but through liberation. Your imagined life should not become another chain. It should become a mirror, a reflection of your growth, your alignment, your unfolding truth. If your dream brings anxiety, it means you've confused attachment with intention. Let it go. Not because it doesn't matter, but because your peace matters more. To align desire with non-attachment is to build the life you imagine while knowing you are already whole without it. It's to dream boldly and act courageously, but never become enslaved by the outcome. You plant seeds and trust the seasons. You walk the path without demanding what's at the end of it. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care from a higher place. You serve the vision, but you don't bow to it. You express your desire, then release it like incense into the wind, knowing the universe heard it, knowing your actions are enough, and knowing that even if the form changes, the essence will always return to you. This is the spiritual art of surrender. Not giving up, giving over. You give your effort to the present and release the result to something greater. And paradoxically, this is what makes you magnetic. The less you cling, the more life flows toward you. Why? Because desperation repels, but presence attracts. Attachment narrows your vision, but alignment expands your reality. The more you detach, the more powerful your energy becomes. People, opportunities, and breakthroughs begin to move toward a you, not because you chase them, but because you've become still enough to receive them. You've tuned your inner frequency to match what you desire, not in force, but in harmony. So if you imagine a life of peace, don't wait for it, live peacefully now. If you imagine abundance, give freely now. If you imagine love, become love now. Act not to impress, but to express. Move not to force, but to flow. Desire without clinging, dream without fear, work without desperation, and love without demand. This is the middle way, the bridge between longing and letting go. You are not here to beg life for scraps. You are here to remember that you are already enough, and from that truth, build a life that reflects your soul, not your survival. When you master this paradox, the life you've imagined will not just be possible, It will become inevitable, because you will have become the kind of person who lives, creates, and receives, not from need, but from inner power. That is the path. That is the freedom. And that is where the dream begins to become real. Chapter 7. Suffering is a signpost, not a sentence. If there is one universal human experience that shapes every soul, it is suffering. And yet, most people see it as punishment, as a mistake, as something to be avoided at all costs. But Buddhism offers a radical, life-altering perspective. Suffering is not here to break you. It is here to wake you. It is not the end of your path. It is the beginning of your transformation. The life you've been imagining, the one filled with peace, purpose, and inner mastery, will not be delivered to you in comfort. It will be forged in the fire of pain, doubt, and discomfort. This is not cruelty. This is sacred design. The lotus, one of Buddhism's most powerful symbols, blooms only through the mud. No mud, no lotus, no pain, no rising. Every wound, every heartbreak, every collapse you've faced is not a wall. It's a doorway. And the moment you stop seeing your suffering as a curse and begin seeing it as a teacher, everything begins to shift. Most people try to escape their pain. They numb it, run from it, hide behind distractions, addictions, or constant busyness. But Buddhism teaches, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. You cannot avoid pain. It is part of the human experience. But suffering, the prolonged mental torment that follows pain, arises from resistance. When you say, this shouldn't be happening, when you cling to how things used to be, or who you thought you were, that resistance breeds suffering. But when you sit with pain, breathe into it, learn from it, and allow it to move through you, you begin to unlock a quiet strength. The pain that once seemed unbearable becomes a catalyst, a signal, a map. It reveals where your false beliefs are hiding. It shows you what needs to be released, what must evolve, and who you must become. This is not easy. It demands courage. To face your suffering directly is to walk into the fire. But here is the truth. Buddhism whispers gently, you are the fire. Your soul is not fragile. It was built to rise. And every time you felt shattered, every night you wept, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, you weren't breaking. You were shedding. You were being stripped of illusion, of ego, of the life that no longer served your evolution. Pain is not the enemy. Denial is. And the longer you avoid your suffering, the longer you remain stuck in a reality that does not reflect your highest self. The life you imagine is not built in the absence of pain. It is built through your relationship with it. Do you see pain as something to escape or as something to explore? Do you meet discomfort with panic or with presence? Buddhist monks are taught to observe pain in meditation, not to suppress it, but to study it. They learn that the body hurts, the mind reacts, but the awareness behind both is untouched. That awareness, your true nature, is invincible. And when you anchor yourself in that space, you stop identifying with the pain and start learning from it. Every storm you've endured has reshaped you. Every betrayal made you wiser. Every loss taught you about impermanence. Every moment you felt alone carved space for deeper connection with the divine. The pain was never meaningless. It was sacred initiation. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared. The life you keep dreaming of requires a version of you that is strong, clear, awake, and unshakable. And suffering is what tempers the soul into steel. Not by making you hard, but by making you hollowed out enough to receive deeper wisdom, compassion, and peace. The most powerful people are not those who have never fallen. They are the ones who kept rising again and again until they no longer feared the fall, until they realized that every descent was teaching them how to fly. You have that same power, but you must stop running from your story. You must meet your pain with open hands. Let it speak. Let it guide you. Let it break the shell of who you were pretending to be. Then, from that cracked shell, let your true self emerge, brighter, softer, more real. So if you are suffering right now, don't see it as the end. See it as a sacred signpost, a message, a moment of transformation. Sit with it. Listen. Ask, what is this teaching me? Then act from that insight. Let pain make you precise. Let it refine your vision. Let it shape you into someone who no longer chases the imagined life, but embodies it, because you've walked through fire and found peace within it. This is the wisdom of suffering. It doesn't take away your dreams. It prepares you to receive them with grace, with depth, and with the unshakable strength of someone who has truly awakened. Chapter 8. Live It Now. The Awakening. Hidden in the present moment. The greatest tragedy is not that people fail to reach their dreams. The greatest tragedy is that they spend their lives waiting to begin. They stand at the edge of who they could become, waiting for permission, for certainty, for the so-called right moment. But in Buddhism, there is a fierce truth. The present moment is not a bridge to your future. It is your life. Everything else is a concept, a shadow, an illusion. The future you imagine is a reflection of how you exist now, not tomorrow, not in 10 years. Now. The awakened path does not ask you to wait for a better day. It demands that you live today as if you are already the person you keep imagining. Because that imagined version of you, it's not a fantasy. It's a deeper memory of who you truly are, buried beneath hesitation, fear, and delay. And to access that version, you must stop rehearsing your life like it's a performance and start living it as if the curtain has already risen, because it has. Most people carry dreams like luggage they never unpack. They walk through life heavy with desire, yet do nothing to make space for what they claim they want. They say, "Someday I'll live with peace. Someday I'll follow my passion. Someday I'll speak my truth." But Buddhism asks, what makes you think you have more time? Impermanence is not a threat. It's a sacred invitation. Every moment is perishable. Every breath is unrepeated. The door to your imagined life opens only now, and it never waits. Each moment you postpone is a moment lost to fear. Not because the dream will vanish, but because you will be changed. You will become more accustomed to settling. You will start confusing safety with alignment and survival with fulfillment. And by the time you realize the cost of waiting, the path may still be there, but your spirit may no longer be willing to walk it. Buddhist wisdom teaches that enlightenment is not found in some mystical realm. It's found in the way you walk through ordinary life with extraordinary awareness. So what if your imagined life isn't waiting to be achieved, but to be activated in the now? What if you started showing up today as the version of yourself that's already peaceful, already strong, already awake? That doesn't mean pretending or forcing. It means remembering. Remembering that peace is not a reward, it's a practice. That freedom is not given, it's claimed. That purpose isn't discovered, it's expressed through every mindful decision you make, from how you treat your body, to how you speak, to what you choose to focus on in this very moment. To live the life you imagine, you don't need to change the world. You need to change how you show up in it. You don't need a new job, new partner, new location. You need a new level of presence. You need to embody the energy of the life you want before it arrives. That means waking up with intention, moving through your day with integrity, speaking with honesty, letting go of distractions that dilute your purpose, saying no to habits that keep you in cycles of delay, and saying yes to small aligned actions that slowly bring your imagined life into form, not through fantasy, but through repetition. The world tells you that transformation is dramatic, but Buddhism teaches otherwise. Transformation is subtle. It is born in the decision to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it, in the choice to be kind when anger is easier, in the act of returning to your breath, your body, your truth, again and again. These moments may feel small, but they are the bricks of the life you keep dreaming about. And when you begin to stack them, patiently, consistently, something profound happens. Your outer life begins to mirror your inner clarity. Not because the universe suddenly shifts, but because you did. You stopped chasing. You started living. The life you've been imagining isn't about what you'll one day have. It's about who you're willing to become right now. That version of you, the one who is confident, calm, purposeful, free. It doesn't arrive by accident. It's sculpted in every moment you choose alignment over avoidance. It's built in every breath you take fully, in every task you do with presence, in every choice you make that reflects your future, not your past. You don't find this life, you become it. And the only way to become it is to live it now in this moment, not when you're ready, not when you're perfect, but when you decide. So stop postponing your peace. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop waiting for conditions to change. Let the life you imagine begin to unfold in the way you sit, walk, speak, serve, and love today. It won't all happen at once, but it will begin. And once it begins, momentum will grow, clarity will come, support will arrive. Because when you start living as if your dream life is already here, the universe stops testing your commitment and starts responding to your embodiment. The present moment becomes sacred, not because it's easy, but because it's real, because it's yours, because it's the only moment that ever truly belonged to you. So own it, embody it, live it, now. Conclusion: the life you imagine is already within you. All this time, you've believed the life you imagine is somewhere out there, just beyond the next milestone, buried beneath years of effort, or locked behind a door that only the lucky get to open. But the truth revealed in every chapter of this journey is something far more powerful and far more immediate: that life is already within you. It's not waiting in the future. It's waiting in your awareness. You learned that the mind is not just a mirror of your reality. It is its architect. That your limitations are not facts. They're illusions you've outgrown. That your actions in this very moment are more powerful than 1,000 intentions. That stillness is not emptiness. It's the birthplace of clarity. That waiting for the perfect time is the most dangerous lie. That true desire, when detached from outcome, becomes sacred fuel. That suffering isn't the end. It's the beginning of your awakening. And above all, that the life you imagine doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who live it now. Each chapter brought you closer, not to something new, but to something ancient inside you. The part of you that already knows how to rise, how to let go, how to act, how to be. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply being called to return to your own power, to your own presence, to the life your soul has always whispered about in quiet moments. Don't chase it. Don't fear it. Don't delay it. Live it. Start now. Because the imagined life you seek is not a destination. It's who you become when you choose, moment by moment, to live awake.